Hey guys, what is up? It's Reaper Jinkai here, and I know it's been forever. I apologize that it's been forever, but um, I've been wanting to make this video for a while talking about Pokemon Let's Go and my initial thoughts on it and stuff like that. And I was gonna do what I normally do, play through part of the game and then let people know what I thought. And I decided for a more thought out explanation, I would play through the entire game on my Switch, complete the Pokedex, everything like that. So I have now officially done that. And if you just want to know my initial thoughts and you don't want to hear the reasoning behind it or anything like that, my initial thoughts are the game is pretty good. There are things I like about it, there are things I don't like about it. Obviously I don't want every Pokemon game that comes out for the rest of eternity to be like this, but I wouldn't mind like every few being like this. It's pretty good. Um, so first of all, I played through Pokemon Let's Go Eevee, and where to even start? So first of all, let's talk about the biggest change. There are no wild battles. If you've been keeping up with it at all, this this is like the biggest thing people talk about. And while now I don't think it's that big of a deal, it is still something I do not like. I want there to be wild battles. I like wild battles. I think in the perfect world we would have a combination of this and old gen games. So if you don't know how wild encounters work in this game, when you walk through grass, an overworld sprite of the Pokemon appears. And then you get to choose what you encounter. You get to choose what you walk into. And for places like Diglett's Cave, that's amazing. Because you're not running into a Zubat every 10 steps. It's, oh, hey, look, a Zubat. I don't want to battle it. Move out of the way. Downside, grinding sucks. It absolutely sucks. I went through the whole game and not once did I ever think I had money because if I wanted to go gain levels, I had to go chain them on. And that cost me Pokeballs, Great Balls, Ultra Balls. And there's just not enough income for that. Later I found out that the candies you get for catching Pokemon, that's another thing they changed. They removed EVs. And if you're not huge into Pokemon and you don't know what EV stands for, it's not the actual Pokemon, it stands for effort value. So basically, how these effort values would work is every time you battle a Pokemon, it would increase your stats, or it wouldn't increase the stats, but it would increase a multiplier of that stat increasing. So, like, on Gengar, if you're building a competitive team, you would go battle something like Psyducks until you got enough special attack EVs to max it out. And then you would probably do speed as well. To be fair, Gengar doesn't do much else. He's a sweeper, but damn is he a good sweeper. Um But on the alternative to this, to where there's no wild battles and everything spawns up in the overworld, something that is for more of a niche group of Pokemon players, shiny hunting is incredible. Incredibly easy. And people are always, my biggest worry when I started shiny hunting, I've caught like 4 or 5 now, um, was that it wouldn't have the same excitement. You know, like, because if you've ever shiny hunted, you've probably had this moment to where you're just running around the grass looking for an encounter after encounter after encounter, or dex nav chaining, or whatever you're doing, and you're just waiting for that one that pops up. And when you finally see that sparkle and whichever one you're looking for, you're excited, you're hyped. Um, I was worried that that feeling would be diluted or not there because the Pokemon spawn in the overworld, so as soon as it spawns, you know it's shiny. But it's not, for me at least. When I see that Pokemon spawn, I'm excited. I'm like, yeah! But there's a higher chance to fail because it's Pokemon Go, catch method, and which adds more excitement to it for me, and then for other people, it's super frustrating when they throw one Pokeball and then they got screwed because that Pokemon decided to run away after one Pokeball. So, uh, shiny hunting, super easy, super fun in Let's Go. Um, Battles, dumbed down. Uh, for the most part, it works the same, but there's no abilities. There's no held items. So when I went to go fight Brock, I was like, "Is Geodude's gonna have sturdy? And if it crits me or hits me with anything, it could be the difference between winning and losing." No, I one shot. I had a Bellsprout. I I wasn't really worried about losing the fight because the Geodude got an attack off, but it would have added to something that would have been concerning. Maybe. I don't know. I didn't get to experience it because it died in one shot. Um, and the gyms having requirements to even enter them. Not all gyms did, but the ones that did were. I was like, why? So, if you haven't played through, not all gyms are. Hey, this gym leader uses this type. You have to have this type of Pokemon with you to let me enter. No, I I think only the first gym does that. After that, they're like the ones that do are like, hey, you have to at least have a Pokemon of this level before I let you enter the gym. Um, which I mean is a hit or miss. But if you don't have a Pokemon at that level, you have to go grind or hope that you skip the trainer somewhere. That's another thing. Trainers do not give enough experience. I battled every trainer I could everywhere I went, and I barely saw my levels change. I uh, I think I leveled up maybe 15 times per mon from battles, and I had to go catch Pokemon to catch up. And that's like throughout the whole game. I could be underballing it, but it felt like experience from battles wasn't enough for me. Let's see. Items are a hit or a miss. Some items I like the price, because like Pokeballs and stuff were lowered in price, but I didn't make enough. Uh, it wasn't until I was way too late in the game that I realized that these candies that I'm getting for these mons aren't as good as. So there's technically two different types of candies. There's in one category, there's one for each stat, but that's not what I mean. So there's the first group of candies that when you give them to a Pokemon, it raises that stat by 1. So it's better than what EVs were. But you have to go grind out those candies to technically EV chain, which are the worst of the two. The other one is like if you catch a bunch of Rattata and you want to use a Rattata on your squad, you can get a Rattata candy. When you give it that candy, it raises all its stats by 1. That's a little bit broken in my opinion. I'm just gonna throw that out there. I think it's a little bit overpowered. Because, like, if you just keep doing that and doing that and doing that and doing that. My Eevee, I got a bunch of Eevee candies from special trainers throughout. And my Eevee was a monster. I was like, why is this Eevee doing so much? On the topic of the starters, if you watch the trailers, there were special moves that were introduced for the Pokemon, for specifically Eevee and Pikachu. These have to be the dumbest name moves in the game, but some of the most broken. For example, Pikachu gets a stab electric type move. I think it's 90 base power. The downside is it's physical on a Pikachu. That always goes first and always crits. You did not hear that wrong. And I think that is stupid. But then the moves that they share are equally as dumb. There's an electric type move, 90 base power special, always paralyzes. They're all 90 base power, so I'm going to quit saying that now. Fire type move, always burns. Ice type move that removes all stat changes. Dark type move that puts up a barrier after you deal damage. Psychic type move that puts up a reflect after you deal damage. Water type move that heals you. And I don't have one normal type move on my Eevee. Because I don't see the point when all these secondary effects are guaranteed. And it's just better than Stab, in my opinion. For my playthrough, it was. Final nitpick. Let me grab it. Pokeball Plus. If you are a Pokemon Go player and you want to use this on your Pokemon Go, buy it. If you think Mew is worth $50 and it actually is, and that's worth to you, buy it. If you are in neither category, do not buy the Pokeball. It is a controller specifically made to play the game, and it is harder to play the game with the Pokeball than it is a Joy-Con. That is a nitpick I have that kind of drives me up the wall. I have never experienced a game before that using the recommended controller or a controller that's specifically made for it, and it's worse than the average controller. That drives me up a wall. But, well, on that topic, there is no but. That is my thoughts on it. But now for the good things. The game is absolutely beautiful. This is the first game we have that has come out on Switch. And it does it justice. It's beautiful game. What else to say about it? They did change a few things. Basically, I think I've talked about all the changes. So the biggest difference between a main series game and this one, which I know these are going to become main series. I think they announced that. Or I heard it from somebody. They could be wrong. It might not become a main series game. But the biggest difference between this and the older games is the catch mechanic. And that there's no held items and no abilities. But if you played Gen 1, you know that's what it was like. So, my final verdict and what I would recommend is if you have never played a Kanto game before, I would recommend playing it. And I realize there's red, blue, yellow, fire red, leaf green, and now there's Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee. So I realize there's a lot of games that you can play first gen on. But if you don't have something that can play the older ones, try out this new one. It's not as bad as I thought it was gonna be. I really shit on it in this video. I didn't really say too many things I like about it. But the things I like, I can't explain. I can't explain to you why I like the game. Like, I got the game, I started playing it. I was kind of still pessimistic when I went into it. Or pessimistic. There we go. Pep. um, but as I kept playing, I just couldn't put it down. I I kept playing it. I started to love it. I thoroughly enjoy the game. It's a good game. But there are things, I think the reason why I was so pessimistic about it in this video even is I like this style, I really do. But them I want it to be better. And I feel like if the community doesn't share what they think can make it better within reason, like they said from the beginning this is a Gen 1 remake. So when I found out that you can't get anything past Gen 1, at first I was like, damn it, I really wanted Crobat. But then I was like, they did say it's a remake. It makes sense. Another thing I really liked, I will say this. If you made it this far, or if you've already left, I apologize. But if you are a person looking for a shiny charm, you do not have to buy this. You do not have to have Mew. If you are a person looking for Meltan, or for the shiny charm, you do not need Meltan. You do not need to touch Pokemon Go at all. You just need the base 150 Pokemon, which are, if you have the game and somebody else has the game that you know, opposite version of you, obviously, you can get all 150 easily. I did it in like 3 days. And the first 2 days, I wasn't really worried about getting 150. Well, first day and a half. So it took me about a day and a half to complete the Pokedex once I started trying. So, incredibly easy. If you are after that shiny charm, do not worry if you don't want to spend the $50 for Mew. If you want that shiny charm, do not worry. You do not have to get Meltan and you don't have to evolve it. Because when I found out, at first I thought you needed them. And I got Meltan, and I found out you can't evolve Meltan in game. You have to evolve him in Pokemon Go with 400 candies. I was pissed. Then I found out I didn't actually need him. So, yeah, that is fantastic. Way to go, Game Freak. But I really don't have anything else to say. I think if you haven't played Kanto, give it a shot. If you're a veteran player, give it a shot. Maybe not buy it. Find a place to rent it from. Do something to play the game for a little bit. But thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this honest opinion on it. Like, one last time, I I enjoy the game, but there are things that I think could have been done better. So, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. And peace.